And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ango Show. It is February 11th, 2025. My name is Ango, and I am joined by Billy TKO. Today, we are talking a little bit about Raw. We're talking a little bit about the stuff that's happening in the pro wrestling business because there's some crazy shit happening, as you guys know. So obviously, we're going to talk about it. First and foremost, Billy.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good today, man. How you doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's
an interesting day.
It's weird. You sound off.
Yeah, something's a little like I'm like not programmed correctly today. I don't know what it is.
His AI function isn't working today, folks.
Yeah, dude, to be honest with you, I think what it is like I think I mean, can I just be honest?
Yeah, bro, come on.
I just think like yesterday I was watching Raw and it was a great episode. I was at the gym, so I was watching Raw at the gym as well.
Yeah.
And I was staying on top of everything. And then I don't know, man, just sore and tired and maybe sleep deprived. I was working late last night on the channel doing some stuff for today. So yeah, I don't know. Just a little
up super late.
Yeah, just a little off balance today, but that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. We're gonna power through. Shout out to all the members in the chat, Darth Bane, Laws, Kevin Schiffman. I see you guys in there.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody loving the Ango Show, because without you guys loving the Ango Show, then there probably wouldn't be an Ango Show. So shout out to y'all. And really shout out to Justin Kennington too, because he's in the chat and he's a member. If you guys want to support the channel, if you guys want to help out the show, you guys can do so. Become a member or drop a super chat. If you drop a super chat, it guarantees that your question gets read. It helps drive the discussion forward, which, to be honest with you, today might be one of those days where your boy's just not calibrated. You know what I mean?
So, y'all gonna drive this conversation.
Yeah, it's just a little bit crazy. Shout out to Phil. He's in the chat as well.
What's up, Phil?
Oh, my God, bro. I'm not sick.
Yeah, so Elon forgot to put your batteries in.
Yeah, pretty much, dude.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, it's either that or maybe I'm just, today's Tuesday and I'm just not ready to watch AEW tomorrow, and maybe
it makes you feel better. Funny little story here. I'm at work and I bring my tripod, and normally there's like a piece to clip on to the tripod, that way my webcam can sit up there.
Yeah.
I forgot the piece, so my webcam is literally sitting on something just off balance right now.
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, no, it is. It's hanging there. It's hanging out like it's having a good time, dude. So, yeah, I mean, I just completely forgot numerous things today.
Billy.
Yeah.
The show is called the Ango Show, but really it's all about you, Billy TKO.
Come on, man.
That's right, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Billy. You're definitely going to want to. But, we actually already got a super chat, which is cool.
Oh, easy. Here we go.
And we'll just start jumping into shit, because honestly, I don't really want to promote a whole bunch of stuff either. So
just do the shit that we say beforehand.
Yeah. Don't know why Lyra versus Bailey and Roxanne versus Raquel was booked. Lyra lacks a proper character. She is not getting prop wins and irrelevant at Royal Rumble. This was from Tolino Channel. This is interesting. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't agree with the analysis on
I don't on Lyra.
Yeah, pretty much on any of this.
Yeah, I don't either. Obviously, they couldn't do Bailey and Roxanne right away.
Yeah,
that's kind of a given. So you have to do Roxanne and Raquel. You know Roxanne's gonna win. We knew Bailey won. You get them in the chamber, and hopefully that leads to them having a Mania match.
What's really interesting is we also know that we can't forget about this part, but obviously we gotta, I think it's next week. It's Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the World Championship.
Yes.
So we can't forget about that. I still think WrestleMania, it's Io versus Rhea.
So do I. I think it'll be some kind of fucked finish.
Yeah. I personally speaking, I'm actually pretty happy with the way they booked the women's division yesterday.
Now, I will say I wasn't a big fan of the match yesterday between Lyra and Bailey. You could tell some things were off. I think Elon forgot to plug in their batteries too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree, but maybe I'm just not being like super analytical on match qualities.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched the match for what it was. I mean, it got the point across. You know what I mean? It told the story that it needed to.
Yeah.
It got Bailey in the chamber. That's what it was supposed to do.
You know what I thought was actually really interesting though?
Huh.
Was we did get the backstage segment with American Made with like Ivy Nile and Lyra.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad because we were talking about it before, you know, like how do they plan to follow that up? So there is that storyline that's there.
For sure.
So I like that continuity. I was very appreciative of it. I see some people in chat just saying like the chemistry was off in the match.
You could tell it was a little bit.
Yeah. But I wasn't expecting like anything huge, I guess.
No.
So that's the big thing.
Look at this guy. He's getting through this today.
Oh yeah, we're powering through.
Come on, man.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Yeah, I mean, listen, Raw was interesting last night for a variety of reasons. I think WWE, it's the most interesting build or road to WrestleMania. And I say that because this is the first time where I feel like the card for WrestleMania is actually unpredictable. Like
yeah,
actually,
I mean, nothing is. I don't think we're gonna have like any significant answers until March 1st with the chamber. I think that's when you'll start kind of seeing things form together and what's going to play out and what's not. I think that's, you know, because we've been so conditioned to understand that the Royal Rumble is really where you start to get it and everything starts to make sense.
Yeah.
If you look at things now, it seems like things have changed a little bit where you're still answering questions coming out of the Royal Rumble. Like, we know that we have the one match now between Jay and Gunther, and that makes a lot of sense. We kind of all knew that that was going to be the case, and after Jay got attacked last night, makes sense. Now, you just let them go out there and tell the story a little bit more. But overall, you're so used to that condition that we once had, and now here we are, just unpredictability all across the board other than that one match.
What did you think of the the way they handled Gunther and Jey Uso last night, and then obviously making it official?
Yeah, I was okay. I have two stances on it. I thought it was really good, but I also thought it was a little premature. I think
really?
I could have. Here's the thing. I think they could have played it out a little bit longer, maybe like another week or so. But again, this is me just being picky, right?
Yeah.
Do I think it was great, and do I think it now allows Jay to be that bigger baby face than he was? Yes, I do. So I'm a fan of that, and I like that. But something in me, call me crazy, something in me is saying that Jay's not going to win this match.
No, I think it's very obvious he's winning.
I want to say that, yeah, it's very obvious, right? It's very obvious, but I don't know, man. There's just something in my body that's like, what if he doesn't give Jay that W?
No, I think Jay gets it. I mean, it's very obvious. The internet wrestling fans don't love it, but these are the people buying tickets, and he's literally got to do a fucking encore of his entrance every time, and he's obviously very much killing it. So he's really good in that spot, man. And when you're really good in that spot, you got to reward him. And Gunther's whole thing is that he just doesn't see the value of Jay, and he doesn't respect Jay. And I think the biggest thing about Gunther is when you look at his losses in WWE, it's always because he doesn't take. It's when he doesn't take his opponent or respects his opponent the most, where, you know, like Braun Breaker, for example, and then Sami Zayn.
Yep.
You know,
he has no respect for him.
Yeah, so
he overlooks him.
He overlooks them, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. And I think that's a good story arc, you know, honestly.
It is, because Gunther just knows that he's the best.
Yeah. So it does create that shock win if Jey Uso obviously beats him.
But like overall, dude, I'm a really big fan of like I'm excited for the match. What happened last night got me intrigued, even more than I already was.
It's interesting because you said the word premature. But I feel like this is actually a really good challenge for WWE to see what they can do with this much time from now until WrestleMania to keep it fresh and keep it going.
That's what I'm really interested about, is like, because here's my thought process. If you really want to tell a good story and like really get under like Jay's skin, for instance, because Gunther is obviously the heel here. And he can kind of play into those shitbag ways and like get the family involved in some aspects.
Yeah.
I think that would be like a really good way to keep this story fresh, is like, say, I don't know, you get a family member, maybe do something with his dad or something like that. Like, I don't know, because it seems like Rikishi's been like a really big voice for Jay. Obviously, we've seen the footage with the Royal Rumble win and stuff like that and how that played out. I think this is me fantasy booking, but it'd be really cool to maybe get dad involved and have Gunther like beat up his dad or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you try to make it more personal. I think the thing about Jay is a lot of people argue that Jay is in a situation where, I think a lot of people argue that Jay is in a situation where it's all gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of the best promos and some of the best things that Jay Uso has ever done is when he becomes very personable and very human. So I don't hate your fantasy booking idea at all, to be honest. I just think you have to do it in a very unique way that's logical.
You do. Because here's the thing is, you can't go out and do the Roman thing, because Roman's obviously going to have his little own storyline going on. Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily know how to go about playing that and intertwining those stories together. But I think you can still utilize the Anoa'i family.
There's always something.
It's how big it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's always something that could be done there.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about. I think it's like I said, you were right. It is a very, they kind of, instead of waiting for Jay to decide after Elimination Chamber, I mean, they just waited for 2 weeks, really. It was the second episode of Raw, and they finally came to that conclusion. So
yeah, I mean, they had him go travel one time.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. It's just I'm curious to see.
I mean, because it is as simple as like, we knew Jay wasn't picking Cody.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Which makes it actually a little bit more interesting now, because of the fact that, like, can you tie in Cody somehow to the storyline?
And you have to remember, like, WrestleMania is really deep into the month of April.
Yeah.
So, like, there is a lot of time.
Oh, there's a lot. It's a challenge. This is going to be this is a big test for Triple H.
This is like, what, a month and 2 weeks, so a month and a half?
Something like that.
That they have to book. So they have about 6 weeks left of TV.
Oh.
That they have to book. I don't know. I think you can tell a really good story.
They've already began telling a good story. The last two weeks have been really good for Jay and Gunther. So I do look forward to seeing how they go about that, obviously. It'll be hard. It'll be hard for Triple H for sure. He's gotta actually make this feel like a world heavyweight championship feud. And that's the big thing. Like, right now it's coming across that way, but it's still so early.
Yeah.
So
I seen Phil in the chat. He said 10 weeks.
Got you.
Damn.
That's a lot of time.
Damn.
It's a lot of time. And who knows, man? With WWE, it's
telling.
I just thought of something. I was just thinking randomly in my head. I don't know why the fuck this popped up, but it's like, dude, can you imagine if The Rock fucking came back and was like, we're not doing this shit, and then it's him versus Gunther? They're like, yeah, we want Cody's the we want Cody thing was such a big thing. We're like, let's do it again. So we want Jay. I obviously hope that would never fucking happen, but I just bring that up because
the IWC would have a fucking meltdown.
Oh, I know. Darth Bane renewal for the membership for 5 months. He says Black, Miro, or Starks first to show up at WWE. Billy?
Ricky Starks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Break it down.
Vengeance Day. NXT. Put him in NXT. Let him go there. Let him succeed. Help that men's main event scene. Please help that men's main event scene. Somebody believable like Ricky Starks go out there, cut a promo on anybody, completely rip them a new one. Yeah, I think Ricky Starks is the first to show up, but that's bias. I'm a huge Ricky Starks fan.
Yeah. It's interesting because I saw somebody on Twitter. This wasn't my thought process. I didn't think about this, but I saw somebody on Twitter bring up the Radicals debut. So Eddie, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko. That happened January 31st, 2000. And basically somebody mentioned on Twitter, and I swear to God, bro, low-key, I kind of think it'd be sick as fuck.
No, if we had them sitting all there, like on the side.
I don't know if I would do it for NXT. I think I would do it for SmackDown because
SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah. But holy shit, I just kind of when I seen that pop up, I was like, oh, that has to be done.
This man ego is clouded today. I like it, man. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I agree. That'd be fire.
The thing is, man, you gotta just like you gotta think it just didn't work out for them in AEW, and it's AEW's leadership, you know.
Yeah, do you think that they get rid of Wardlow and Phoenix now?
I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't know who. I personally, I believe I'm under the impression there's going to be more.
So Tony woke up one day and was like, you know what? Clear the checkbook.
Let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. Is there really a... I mean, I know the IWC is not going to want to actually participate in this conversation because everybody wants to act like they know. But I think when you have a deep dive into whether or not AEW is profitable, how much money they've burned on this talent for 5 to 6 years, we don't know. There's nobody that actually knows the bottom line. And I think it's safe to say that AEW is very expensive to produce and they pay a lot of money for talent. And obviously Tony Khan and Shad Khan got a lot of money, but the reality is actually very simple. And I think this company is not making money the way that people think. So I definitely don't believe, like, listen, Tony Khan and AEW are going to spend money and spend money and spend money. Yeah. But at some point when your company is not really performing that well, spending money isn't really a solution. So I'm under the impression that AEW and people would be like, well, what gives you that impression? I think you got to look at AEW and what they've done before. They literally released Anthony Henry when he was fucking injured. So like, that's how desperate they were at that point to make cuts. And then Tony Khan looked dumb as fuck when he then brought back Anthony Henry, but he brought him back because of the perception that AEW, you know, basically screwed him. So
yeah, it seems like, so this is kind of the thing that we've always said about Tony, right? Is he's one of those guys that just kind of follows the lead of what the IWC says. That's kind of been what the IWC has chose to make of Tony Khan, and he's given that perception, right? Yeah. When it comes to, oh, well, now he's holding them hostage. Well, he sits there and he holds them. And then it's like, oh, well, we want to see him release. Well, here they go. And it seems like Tony Khan's always been a person trying to please the crowd.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he just did that interview this past weekend where he was talking a little bit about not going publicly traded company.
Yeah, because why would you want anybody to see that information?
Why would you want to see that information? Why would you want people to see that you are not profitable and that you are bleeding? The only reason why it doesn't impact them as much is because they're just filthy fucking rich. But I guarantee, I am very much under the impression that they will start cutting. I think they'll very much.
Well, because here's the thing: is like you could be super rich, you could have as much money as you fucking want to. At the end of the day, you're running a business. And you have to look at things with a business mindset. And you have to understand that people that normally have money are looking to make more money.
Yeah.
So under this circumstance, it's like, okay, is me holding on to Ricky Starks making me any money, or is it currently costing me money because we have to remember that Tony Khan has very much pushed for the IWC crowd. That's the crowd that he's targeted. So them leaning on hate towards him in the situation, that is costing him money. It's people aren't watching the show, people aren't buying merchandise because people are boycotting what he's done. So now he is going to try and please the audience once again. So he's going to get rid of Ricky Starks. He's going to get rid of Malachi. Well, he didn't really get rid of Malachi Black, but we know that situation. But Miro and all these names, and he's not going to re-sign them because it's like, hey, these people that are watching my show, they don't want you here and you don't want to be here. So maybe it's best that you go.
I've said this for years. I'm going to keep saying it for years. If there's people in this company that don't want to be there, you shouldn't be paying them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the goofiest things on planet Earth. Like, oh yeah, we're going to pay this guy and we don't want him here and he doesn't want to be here. That has to be one of the goofiest business models of all time.
Well, you know what makes Tony Khan a goofy business owner?
Huh?
You still got Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, and you know, you're holding on to Ray Phoenix knowing that he is not the same I mean, let's be real here. He had one of him and his tag team partner. They went on a great run there, and that's what they were. They were the Lucha Bros.
Really quick, there was a super chat from Myra for $4.99. She says TK holding on to Phoenix like his life depends on it. But that's what makes me think Tony Khan is not a good business owner. Like, honestly, I don't think he's a good business leader, because if this company, let's just say, for example, like if you really want to fuck WWE right now, it's very clear that they have very high hopes for Penta. So you bring in Phoenix, that immediately makes them call the audible on Penta, or it makes Rey Phoenix go into a singles position.
If I was AEW, I'd put Phoenix out there right now. I'd let him go put on numerous bangers. I'd try to present him in a whole new way, give him a really good shine. Him and Daniel Garcia right now would be like fire, right? For the TNT title.
Mm.
Like if I were AEW, that's what I would do. I would go let that guy put on numerous bangers just because of what WWE is doing. If you want to get under WWE skin so bad, that's how you could do it.
Well, yeah, and I think too, like, it's just really important that people understand like what's at stake here. Like, Tony Khan is not at a, like, WWE is profitable, and this isn't a WWE versus AEW thing, but WWE is profitable, right? And WWE being profitable, there is definitely a lot of talent there that don't get used, right? Now, I think it's silly to pay people that you're not using. I really do. However, if those people want to be there and then keep them, right?
Yeah.
But if there's people in WWE that don't want to be there, don't keep them. And that used to be a thing that we talked about heavily under the Vince McMahon era, where it was like, man, there was a lot of people who just didn't want to be there, and WWE held them hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's interesting because AEW we thought would be different, and they're not. And really, it's just a dumb business decision because, like, even you kind of mentioned it, like with like Miro, Black, and Starks, but the deep down, like, people will make excuses and call them out, and
yeah,
they'll make their comments and they'll say like, oh, AEW didn't do anything with them. AEW didn't do anything with them, and they were refusing creative, and they were doing this, and they were doing that.
Or they're hard to work with. Numerous things.
Yeah. So if that's all true, let's say that's all true. Let's just say that's true. As a company, you can't figure out a way to communicate properly and say, hey, what is it that you would like to do? What can we do to come to an understanding? Because we like you and we want to utilize you consistently.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of thing can we do together where we could sit down together and come to an agreement of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We have a plan.
Well, dude, wrestling is such like the music business to me when I like think about it. It's so funny because of course a lot of these guys have egos and think that they're the best. That's just natural, right? They're out there performing.
Yeah.
So when you're performing, your mindset is that I'm the best. There's nobody better than me, and you almost have to carry that weight because everybody wants the world title and they want to be involved in the main event. They want to do it. It's natural, right? So you're telling me that as a boss, you haven't figured out how to work with somebody's ego. Maybe you're not the best boss that you think you are. Because in this industry and in this business, it's the one thing that you're supposed to do is be able to work with somebody's ego. I'm not saying that people should be dickheads. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's just natural for people to think that they're the best. And they want to be put in good storylines. That's fair. And if they think that, give them that good storyline or explain to them how this could be good for them.
Yeah. There was a message that Mike left in the chat. Mike's our mod on the stream. And he says Rey is leaving no matter what, so Tony won't make him a bigger star. So what's actually really funny about this, though, and I understand that sentiment, right? So if that's the case, then release him. But let's say you don't release him.
Mm-hmm.
What I think AEW should do, and really WWE and every wrestling company should do, is when you have a talent who might be leaving, or you have a talent who might be disgruntled, I would actually not really worry about their future. I would worry about how I can maximize them so I can make money from them now, at least in the short term. Because the reality is, and the IWC is just too fucking dumb to actually grip to understand this, the anti-WWE people that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But Rey Phoenix being built into a bigger star for WWE actually doesn't hurt AEW in the slightest, by the way.
Oh,
it might help WWE, and this is more of like an ego thing because you're helping your competition, technically speaking. But if Rey Phoenix left your company and became a big star in WWE, it doesn't hurt your company. Just like it didn't absolutely hurt WWE when Dean Ambrose left. He got a very nice send-off from WWE, showed up in AEW.
Yep.
And That didn't hurt WWE at all. And I would argue that Jon Moxley, aside from the Shield stuff, I feel like Jon Moxley has obviously been presented and booked better in AEW.
For sure. So, yeah, I think that company was more fitting towards Jon Moxley rather than WWE was.
People act like it's a sports thing. And I want to point this out. The Mavericks, they do this trade with the Lakers, right?
Yep. Luka.
So Luka is an incredible talent. The Mavericks made Luka Doncic into a star, no matter what anybody says, right?
Yeah.
He is going to the Lakers. Does that mean the Lakers are automatically winners?
No.
Why? Because the Lakers have other problems, right? Their center situation.
They don't have. There's a lot of key pieces that are missing.
So one key person didn't actually really do anything.
No, he's just fun to look at.
Gotcha. Yeah. So now turn that into a wrestling conversation.
It's the same thing.
It's literally the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's very normal for people to leave sports teams and go elsewhere.
Yeah, you could have the one big star and he can come over, but he doesn't ultimately make the team.
Now, what would have been better for Mavericks? Now, there's a reason why I bring up this analogy, because the Mavericks brought in Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis, by the way, might be out for the rest of the season now because he got hurt.
Yeah, but if they were really looking for a center, they could have went and got Mark Williams from the Hornets.
Who?
I'm talking the Mavericks. If they were going to look for a center, somebody that's young, somebody that's healthy.
Brother, Mark Williams is fucking hurt. He couldn't even get traded to the Lakers. They had to rescind the offer.
Is that why it never went through?
Yeah, he failed his physicals.
Oh,
so let's not get off track though. Anthony Davis,
it's turned into a sports show.
Yeah, so Anthony Davis though got injured literally in his first game with the Mavs.
Yeah, instantly.
So they got rid of their star player and got somebody else, and now they effectively fucked themselves.
Yeah, because nothing's happening now for them.
But it's not like the Lakers are projected to win the championship either.
No, Dallas did the trade because they were looking to be a contender right away.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is AEW getting rid of Phoenix is not going to make WWE a contender right away. And the reason why, though, is because the WWE is the contender. They are the champions. Right. You're not beating them. So that's okay, though. You could get rid of your assets to them, and they will do whatever WWE does, and that's fine. But just what really matters
roster around, let it be the people that want to be there. That's how I look at it. Just make your roster the people that want to be there, because there are obviously people that want to be there. You know, you got somebody like MJF who shows up every week, and he's got a tattoo. Bet on yourself, and like he re-signed with the company. Like that's a guy who wants to be there. Put him on. Make him a big deal. Hangman Adam Page, a big deal. Make sure he's being utilized correctly. Jon Moxley, making sure that the stories that he's in is making sense. Jay White, Will Ospreay. There are numerous names down the board that, like, your Adam Cole, your show can be so good down the board. You just have to make it good. And it's your job as a boss and as a company to make that show set good.
Yeah.
Ray Phoenix is not affecting your pockets or the way your show is being produced at all. And if he's somebody that doesn't want to be there,
it is. Well, hold on. It is impacting their pockets because they are paying money for Ray Phoenix to do nothing.
It's impacting their pockets, but it's not impacting the show.
I think you can make an argument that the talent that have been sitting off of TV have definitely been impacting the show. I think that is very, very, very important to note. I think that is very noticeable. I think there has been a major decline in the last few years with AEW's product because there have been noticeable people not on the show. Ricky Starks and Cope delivered a fucking awesome promo back and forth, and it felt real. Why? Because it was. So, for example, you took Ricky Starks off TV, Adam Copeland got offended, and I love Edge. I will always love Edge, and I'll always be a fan of Edge, but he was very, very soft in that segment, and then Ricky Starks gets pulled off of TV. Okay, let's go. Cody Rhodes is no longer on TV. CM Punk is no longer on TV. Malachi Black was only on TV because of fucking Brody King and Buddy Matthews. He wasn't doing anything singles, so that automatically impacted the show.
See, you're taking the past. I'm talking from a future standpoint.
For the future standpoint, though, understand this though. This is what you need to realize though, is that you have people in your company that are still not being used.
Yes.
So it does hurt when you see the decline of this product and you see so many people not being used or consistently in a prominent storyline, people are not interested. Who the fuck really cares about Daniel Garcia and 2.0 coming out together.
Well, this is the thing. You have to make them care.
Oh, Billy, make them care, make them care. Yeah, guess what, though? They haven't been making people care. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, but can we argue that them being off TV is the reason why nobody cares?
That is the argument.
How does that make sense, though? How does it make sense that these people being off TV is the reason why nobody cares? That's false. AEW could go out and make a good product if they wanted to. They're choosing not to. I could care about Daniel Garcia if you made me care about him.
I don't think they're choosing not to. I don't think Tony Khan knows how to. I think there's a very, very big difference. But also too, and like it's relevant to WWE too, because if you look at WWE, they have a situation where right now the mid card on SmackDown is suffering. But guess what? They also have people not being used on TV, so it fucking hurts their product.
For sure.
So how do you make people care? You got to put them on TV and actually do stuff with them prominently to make them care.
I agree.
So, WWE has the same issue with the men's division in NXT and SmackDown's mid card. So in AEW, it's just actually a little bit more impactful because of the fact that they have that situation going on where there's a lot of people who aren't being used. You know, for example, like Wardlow. Like we could talk about Wardlow all day, and it's funny because when I go back to my old videos talking about Wardlow, AEW fans were sickos for him. But then when you see that Wardlow's off TV, they no longer care about him. Guess what? He's trash. He's washed. He's injury prone. He's this. He's that. He's a loser. He's not good. So I see stuff like that, and that just reminds me that's AEW's fault. AEW created that perception where they have effectively ruined the perception of the wrestlers on their roster. So guess what? Rey Fenix, you know, and I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but Tony Khan holding on to Rey Fenix like his life depends on it is actually really fucking silly. And the worst part about it is that it hurts the product even more, and it hurts the company even more because you're spending that kind of money. Yeah, you're spending money to keep that person, which, by the way, there's a lot of people getting paid. You know, like to compare it to the NBA and NFL, there's something called cap space. Now, Tony Khan has unlimited cap space, but the problem is the unlimited cap space that he's taking advantage of is not for a lot of people that are actually difference makers in his company. And that's the sad reality that nobody in the IWC actually wants to say, because maybe it's a little harsh, but there is a lot of people who are getting paid in this company who really aren't that good to be on TV. And that's another issue in itself. So you're going to see some of those people probably not stay in the company much longer. There will come a time, I promise you, Tony Khan will not keep everybody under contract. I said this years ago. In the past 2 years, we've already seen it become a little bit more relevant. But let's hold on to Rey Fenix because he might go to WWE. It's dumb.
It is. It's selfish. It's silly.
By the way, their biggest storyline they ever had was when their top star literally teased working for Triple H in the WWE. So let's not forget that.
Oh, the MJF shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
They effectively promoted MJF possibly going to WWE. Yeah. And they dropped the ball on that storyline too, like everything else. So shout out to Myra for the super chat. Kevin Schiffman dropped a super chat regarding Raw. He says Dakota Kai turns on EO on Raw to cost EO the title out of jealousy. I don't mind this. I don't mind them building some sort of singles program between Dakota Kai and EO. However, I would actually wait for something like that to happen until after Raw.
When EO wins the world title or something.
Yeah, I would actually much rather have EO like win the world championship. Let this be a long-term storyline where they build that up. Dakota Kai finally snaps.
Yeah.
Just personally speaking, that's how I would see that.
And that puts Dakota Kai in a really prominent role where she deserves to be.
Yeah.
That's how I'd do it.
Obviously, just coming back from injuries, she is a little bit injury prone. You can't.
One thing to remember, guys, is we got a lot of wrestling to tell. There's things after WrestleMania that we got to look at. Like, that's how good the product is right now. At least for me, it is.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say about Dakota Kai, imagine if Io Sky won the world championship at WrestleMania, and then for like 8 months you tease Dakota Kai turning, and then eventually she turns.
Come on, that's good stuff. You can have her win the Intercontinental Championship, let her go on a run with it. Her and Io having the titles. I don't know. Like, there's things that you could do, and then eventually she drops it. She gets pissed. Io starting to get mad that she's losing. Then eventually she snaps.
Yeah.
That's
I agree. Shout out to Kevin Schiffman for the $5 super chat. Toledo channel dropping 40 rupees. He says, with the Creeds on Raw, Fraxium should go to SmackDown. So I loved what they did yesterday between the War Raiders and the Creeds.
Yeah.
Phenomenal match. I was okay with the booking, like the DQ or whatever.
The finish.
I'm okay with that because you got to build a storyline between the tag teams, so that's fine. I'm excited about potentially seeing the Creeds become world tag team champions. I think it's inevitable. It will happen.
They look good with the belts when they held them up.
Yeah, and honestly, the War Raiders and the Creeds is just going to be a phenomenal feud.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, that moonsault last night, that was like, oh, good.
So this is where WWE has to actually get better, though, and WWE has to keep, we're seeing it on SmackDown. Now we got to see it more on Raw with the tag teams there. Definitely do that. Now, I think Fraxium going to Raw or SmackDown is okay. I'm okay with both options. However, I think Fraxium will go on to SmackDown and have better matches. Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, DIY, things like that. I will say, though, please, for the love of God, Triple H, WWE, Nick Khan, Shane McMahon, Shawn Michaels, whoever the fuck it is, I don't care. Paul Heyman, I don't know. I said Shane McMahon, like that fucking guy is doing anything there. But like dead ass, Nathan Frazier and Axiom should not be broken up. So please do not fucking break them up. They are a very good tag team. They've gotten over as a tag team.
Leave them alone. They're good.
They're very, very good. Very, very talented. People like them. They will do great things. I'm watching
Power Rangers when I watch them.
I feel like they're fucking Power Rangers on roids, bro. They're fucking amazing.
Bro, insane.
I think when people look at Nathan Frazier, people like, I think Dave Meltzer said it, so it's interesting. But I see the comparison, like a young Will Ospreay, like coming up the ranks, like
Nathan Frazier.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and he's really good.
So obviously, shout out to Ben Carter because he's fucking sick, bro. And yeah, dude, I'm excited to see what happens with that. I'm okay with Fraxium going to SmackDown. I'm okay with them going to Raw. Honestly, Raw probably needs them a little bit more. But who knows, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Myra dropping a $9.99. Hold on. Where is this? $9.99. Myra says, I heard this by a chief marketing officer. When you have conflict, you fix it ASAP because conflict leads to financial losses. I wonder if TK puts on his business hat rather than his wrestling fan hat on. No, that's very true. I mean, any business who knows how to conduct business knows that you have to fix conflict. You can't.
Yeah.
Leadership, I think companies get this wrong all the time, but leadership is super incredibly important. And you got to be a leader. You can't be a boss. You got to be a leader. You got to have people bought in. And I think initially when AEW started, it was very clear with like Britt and the Elite and everybody, like everybody was kind of bought in relatively fast. I think it just also ended very quickly. I don't think people believe in the company's mission. I genuinely don't believe people believe in the company's mission, their future. I don't think people are truly invested in the company like they once were. I think the probability rate of people leaving AEW today for another company is very high compared to what it was 2-3 years ago. So, that's kind of how I look at it. And I think really the part of that is probably from leadership. I think part of the booking, and then just constantly dealing with bullshit. Like it's like when WWE was under Vince McMahon, people forget like how bad the morale was. Dude, it's not good. You don't want to go to a workplace that has bad morale.
No, hell no.
So I think with AEW, it's like, I'm sure for some people, they just genuinely don't give a fuck because they're getting paid, and that's fine. That's cool. Like that at the end of the day, it is a job. I don't care what anybody says. It is a job. So to me, the way I'm kind of looking at it is, why not try to fix that culture? Why not try to get people bought in? Why not try to get respect from the fans? Stop being unpopular,
Facts.
Stop being unpopular. And everything you're doing is unpopular. Your Death Rider storyline is unpopular. Your way of doing things when it comes to talent utilization, it's unpopular. The way that you are not listening to fans, it's unpopular,
Yeah.
Those are all things that have to be considered, man.
They are numerous things,
and it's not just storytelling. It's just in general. There's a lot of important things that like it has to be mentioned, man. It has to be mentioned. Shout out to Myra for the $9.99. Myra dropped another $9.99. She says, Billy said it best. It's important to have people skills and navigate all the personalities and have the skills to be able to work together as a team so everyone benefits.
Yeah. So look, it's something that I've said for a really long time. I actually had a conversation last night with one of my buddies about it. he was talking a little bit about myself and how I try to move like in some sense as a leader, right? But there's one thing I hate confrontation. As a leader, you have to know how to navigate confrontation, whether that be from an individual person or numerous people. You have to know how to navigate that correctly.
I think this is a funny topic.
Why?
Because I think it's so funny when you have to be careful how you navigate confrontation. So this is how it works in the real world, not in wrestling, but in the real world, I'm the boss. I have a huge risk of being the boss, and therefore I'm going to pay you to do your job, okay?
Yep.
And here's what's going to happen is I'm going to pay you either weekly or bi-weekly for an amount of money that we agree on and for the amount of work that we agree to do, okay?
Yeah.
And here's how it's going to work. You're going to shut the fuck up. You're going to clock in, do your job, and clock the fuck out.
Yep. And after that, you can go home and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yes. So in wrestling, it for some reason doesn't work that way.
It's not the same.
But confrontation is quite easy. You shouldn't be scared of confrontation. You're going to say, shut the fuck up. You work here, and that's it.
Yeah. That's how it works.
And I'm just being honest, bro. Like I know it's not the popular opinion, but I think a lot of people want to just. I think a lot of people look at. I see this with my old employees that worked for me, and I see this for people. There's a lot of people that just, I'm gonna come to work and skate by and get paid and do the bare minimum and this and that.
That's not how it works, baby.
No, you're gonna do what you agreed to do when you took the job. And if you lied about what your qualifications are and what you can do and can't do and how you can manage and stuff, I'm gonna help you and I'm gonna get you to the point where you can. But if you're not willing to accept that help or you're not willing to do it, I'm just gonna let you go. Yep. So the thing is in professional wrestling, and this is why when people use that excuse about Miro, Malachi, and Ricky not being able to, they were not accepting ideas or whatever. That's all a whole bunch of gossip from the internet. There's been no confirmation on that. But as I said, if that stuff was all true, that just goes to show you that Tony Khan is a fucking poor leader.
For sure.
Poor leader. And at the end of the day, the way to improve as a leader is by looking at yourself in the mirror and understanding that it's a problem. The fact that it's a problem to begin with shows you a side of weakness. And I think that's really important to acknowledge because Tony Khan at first probably wanted to be the cool boss. Now,
and then
he's not the cool boss.
You can't be the cool boss and you have to fucking just be a boss.
There's no such thing as a cool leader.
No, it never existed.
Never, ever in the history of work.
Nope.
No matter what, you die tomorrow, your company's looking for your replacement. That's just how it is, bro.
And you got to think like that at all times.
That's why businesses are businesses. That's why businesses are rich. That's why businesses. So the thing is, it's like, I think I said it yesterday. It's like, I don't give a fuck about family culture in a workplace. Don't tell me we're a family, bro. You were talking about it. You said it was a super chat or whatever, like CM Punk, Vince McMahon, not my father. Like,
the father. It was from Myra, actually. That's funny.
Yeah, bro. Like that was fucking like that's the truest shit in the world, bro. Like I come to work to get paid and do my job, and that's it.
I don't give a fuck about this family aspect behind it.
Now, obviously, what makes this a little bit challenging, you have to at least acknowledge the fact that they're independent contractors. Yes. But Tony Khan could have been the company to change that, and they didn't. So that's your mess that you got to deal with because you don't want to spend the money for.
Now you're reaping the consequences of that.
Exactly. So shout out to Myra, the 999 super chats. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, Billy did say it best, though. It is important to have people skills and navigate all the personalities. And that's just something that you naturally have to do. And here's the thing. If you're a leader and you don't know how to do it, that's okay. You can hire somebody to do that.
Exactly. And that's the good thing about having money. But Tony Khan also hasn't realized that either.
Yeah. Shout out to Myra for those super chats. There was a couple more I feel like I've seen.
The super chats is flowing in. Thanks, guys. Helping us navigate this conversation.
Yeah, where is Kari Sane? I think she's injured, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's injured. I can look it up fast.
Yeah, look it up. I want to say Kari's injured.
I'll look it up right now.
And shout out to everybody watching on X. We got a couple hundred people watching on there as well. So,
yo, shout out X.
Shout out to y'all.
December 16th. Okay, yeah. So Sane was attacked by Pure Fusion Collective, Trio, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark during the December 16th episode of WWE Raw to explain her legitimate injury. So, yeah. Fun fact, she's been injured so long, Pure Fusion Collective no longer exists.
Well, Sonya Deville was released, so... Shout out to Ernest. He dropped a $5 super chat. He says, if Miro, Stark, and Black go to WWE, where would you place them in WWE? So
we talked about Black yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think SmackDown needs the most help in that mid card right now. Just like the IC title is very, very well off on Raw, the US title needs some help. So that's a very big weakness for WWE currently. So honestly, if I had it my preference, Miro and Black both go to SmackDown. Starks goes to NXT because NXT needs somebody in the main event scene to help lift up the show.
Yeah,
Starks
and we're not saying that Ricky Starks has to stay in NXT. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
We're just saying put the guy there and really help that men's main event scene because it is in need of some serious help right now.
Yeah. And also really quick, I just want to address this. I got a tweet response just a moment ago. Okay. Because I tweeted that Ricky is free and clear, and I said, let's fucking go. And Stooge, who hides behind a fake profile pic, says, funny seeing all these fans off his coming out of the woodwork. Y'all never supported him in AEW, and it's hilarious.
So I love fucking hilarious.
I think this is what's funny is I think these are the people that Tony Khan actually books for. So I think that's like the funniest aspect of it all because anybody who watched NWA saw Ricky Starks was a star, and we were elated to see that he got a TV deal, TV contract with the company.
Oh, dude, so I remember when he debuted.
Yeah. We wanted these guys to succeed, and actually this is where Ango's been such a bad fucking person on the IWC. Because I called it Miro, Stark, and Black. I mean, I've said it, they've all been mishandled in AEW since initially they've been in AEW. So shout out to me for constantly fucking being right, and then constantly, constantly being right when I don't want to be, bro.
Stooge thinks you're wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just I think the reason why I want them in WWE, well, first and foremost, look who's fucking gonna be booking them. Simple as that.
Yeah, God forbid I want these guys to be handled a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just such a shame.
As a fan, I want that. Yeah. God forbid,
Yeah. Obviously, I answered the super chat. Billy, you kind of answered it yesterday, but go ahead and respond with your.
Yeah, no, I naturally agree with you. I think Starks goes to NXT, help that main event scene, and then you could put Miro and Black on SmackDown, really help that US title picture.
Yeah. And don't forget my fantasy booking from like a month ago, Aleister Black.
Yeah, you just
want heavyweight champion.
You just want to get him in.
Yeah, I just want to get him in and become a world champion. So
they could put him on Raw, have him go be a contender against Jay.
No, not yet.
I don't know.
Nope, because the Sammy story is better.
Oh yes. I forget we have to go through that.
Yes,
because that'll be fire.
Yeah. Shout out to Ernest for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. LMCT dropping $4.99. How would you handle releasing talent from the contracts that would make business sense, also taking into consideration the public relations impact? Great question. Great super chat.
Really good one.
Billy, I'll let you go first.
So how would I handle releasing talent from their contracts? So obviously you have to have like a serious talk with these people, and you need to sit them down. But to really protect the publicity behind it in the public eye, I think the best way to handle it is just making sure that you're leaving each other on good terms, right? It really is that simple. Don't let things, you have to make things clear in the beginning. And again, we've kind of talked about it with Tony Khan. You really have to make them clear in the beginning that, hey, no matter what, this is business at the end of the day. And a business relationship and a personal relationship are two different and very different things. So just because we'll just use Ricky Starks, for example, just because Ricky Starks was released from his AEW contract doesn't mean that he necessarily hates Tony Khan, the human, right? He may just not like Tony Khan on the business level. He may not like the business that Tony Khan has done. So I think the best way to protect that is just making it known, like, hey, dude, we just didn't see eye to eye on a business level, and we couldn't get business done, and it sucks, but, let's move forward. I hope you succeed, and, I wish the best for you. I mean, look at the way Cody's handled the situation since leaving AEW. I don't think I've ever heard him talk bad about AEW. I genuinely don't.
That's never going to come out.
And even if it doesn't, then there's a reason why it won't. You know what I mean? It's to protect maybe the personal feelings towards somebody. You know what I mean? And maybe Cody has that personal belief that, like, hey, Tony was once a really good person to me. You know what I mean? And we just didn't see eye to eye business wise, and maybe it got a little personal, but at the end of the day, I'm protecting his integrity.
Cody's smarter than that. You never burn bridges.
Exactly. Boom. There you go. You never burn bridges. You can't do it.
Tony Khan's like a flower. He's delicate. You hurt his feelings, you're probably never coming back. Triple H and WWE have shown us, historically speaking, that, hey, if it just makes sense for business, we'll fucking get over it.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, look at Punk.
To answer this question, good answer, Billy. To answer this question, I would do things a little bit differently. My process, if I was in Tony Khan or Triple H's shoes, the way I would handle release is very simple. I would look at the talent that I'm thinking about releasing. I'm going to sit down with them one-on-one. And I'm going to tell them, hey, this is the situation. Right now, you are borderline being cut from the company. I'm not trying to derail your morale. I want to be very, very clear with you and give you a chance, a second opportunity. Okay? So I would forewarn them ahead of time. I would have a conversation. And I would say, this is how it's going to work. Okay? We feel like where you are currently at as a character and what you are currently at as a performer is not really up to our standards. We don't really see an opportunity to make money with you. I want you to prove me wrong. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to send you to Ring of Honor. We're going to send you to NXT. We're going to have you work with a small group of people. Maybe in AEW, it would be Jerry Lynn and Big Show and somebody else, you know. In NXT, it would be A-Train and, you know, Robbie Taylor and all those guys and Norman Smiley. And we're going to basically give you 2 months. We're going to give you 2 months, 8 weeks. We're going to give you 8 weeks to come up with a concept for a character that you feel would genuinely work. You're going to be responsible for this. You're going to be responsible. You're going to cut promos. You're going to send tapes of you working in the Performance Center. And in Ring of Honor, we'll put you on TV with this character or work a dark match or something like that. We'll give you 8 weeks. If you come up with something that's enticing, we'll keep you. For the duration of your contract. We'll give you 8 weeks. That's how I would handle it. I would literally give people a second opportunity. I would let them know, hey, you're fucking up. You're not where we want you to be. We don't really see an opportunity here, but we're asking you to show me that I'm wrong before I give you up and let you go somewhere else.
Well, that was kind of what you were saying about the 90-day clause.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, obviously, talking about that 90-day clause. But I say 8 weeks. I say 8 weeks is enough time. And then what I would do is if I have somebody, for example, in AEW, which I want to use a name that's not gone from the company. So let me pull up the AEW roster. This is really weird fantasy booking or hypothetically speaking of releasing a talent, but I'm just going to use...
It's all hypothetical. This isn't happening.
Yeah. Let's just say, for example, Anthony Bowens, because I love Anthony Bowens. That's the guy who I've been saying since day one should be a world champion at one point.
Yes.
So let's just say Anthony Bowens splits up from the Acclaimed, and it's like they don't have a plan for both of them. So I'm going to have a conversation with Anthony Bowens and be like, hey, I want you to know that we're behind you. We support you. However, right now as it stands, we're kind of on the verge of cutting you.
Because we have nothing for you to do.
We have nothing for you to do. It doesn't make financial sense. We're not really sure, on our end, how to maximize with you. We want to collaborate. I think collaboration is very important. So I'm going to give you 8 weeks. Come up with something that you feel could be a very big draw for this company, that you think could be a major element to TV. I'm not asking for creative plans. I'm asking for how you plan to repackage your character, how you plan to change your way of doing things. So you submit promo tapes, you submit training videos, you submit new attire, ideas for new music and merchandise and things that would make you a marketing asset, because obviously that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And if Anthony Bowens came to me and gave me a good idea, maybe it's not 100% polished, but if it's a good idea where I'm like, hey, we could work on this. Okay, let's get a team of people. Let's make this happen. Let's give it a try. Yeah. And then from there, move forward. If it was in NXT, it would be a little bit different, because on NXT, it is developmental. So for NXT, what I would do is slightly different, but I would say, hey, you're going to go to promo class. We're going to send you back to promo class. We're removing you from TV. We're going to send you to promo class. You're going to do training with the people in NXT. In the meantime, you're going to come up with a new character. You're going to come up with these promos. You're going to submit your tapes. We're going to analyze together what we can do. And let's just say, for example, the purpose of releasing them is, hey, we don't have room for you because you're currently on Raw. If you come up with something enticing enough, we as a company will figure out to put you where you are needed. Meaning, hey, you may not be a main event star with this character, but now you fill a gap. Maybe we need more comedy characters. This character works. Yeah. We'll put you on SmackDown as a comedy character. Hey, this character potentially works on SmackDown or NXT. You know, we have a void with the men's main event scene. We're going to let you go up there for a couple months, get reintroduced to the NXT audience with this character. You know, all of this shit is important. I guarantee you right now, you'll never see your workers work harder for you in your life because you think people really want to lose their job. Absolutely not.
Hell no.
And I swear to God, this is the solution. The problem is billionaires, they have this thing called time is money, and it's a fucking lousy excuse because they feel like they can't make time to invest. That's because billionaires and these companies, they really don't genuinely care. And that's the sad reality. Like,
yeah, it is.
You know, we're talking about people losing their jobs. Obviously, I'm a human being. I don't like the idea of people losing their jobs. And it's a weird thing because I feel like people tiptoe around this, but I think cutting people is just the excuse. And I'm not a person that likes excuses. I'm a person that likes to say, hey, before I give up on you, I've tried absolutely everything possible, which is the reason why I 1,000,000% disagree with releases in pro wrestling. I have always been the type of person, when I was a leader, before I fired somebody, I always thought me firing somebody was a representation of me and how I conduct business.
Yes.
This is not how WWE and AEW are viewed. But when I was a leader, if I had to fire somebody, I always felt like, damn, they failed because I failed them. Mm-hmm. So before I fire somebody, before I let them go,
every single little detail
I give them work. And I give them very big conversations saying, hey, you're not performing the way we need you to perform. You're not doing the things that we're asking for. You're not doing the things that you agreed to do. I don't want to let you go. You are on the verge of being let go. I'm not trying to kill your morale. I'm not trying to, you know, at the end of the day, you are under contract with us, and I want to give you a fair shot before we cut ties. So this is what we're going to do. And I guarantee you, I promise you on everything, I know for a fucking fact, there is not one person backstage that would sit there and be like, I'm not doing that. And guess what? If that person sits there and says, I'm not doing that, cut them because they didn't want to be there to begin with. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's the thing. If you have people who work for you that don't want to genuinely be there, you don't fucking waste your money on them. You don't do it. This is not difficult, bro. I should not be spitting these kind of facts, and I'm not a fucking billionaire.
Right, exactly. That's the funny part, is that like, we're sitting here having a conversation like this, and neither of us run any type of company. Big, major company, billionaire company. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Joel says in the chat, he says, you're assuming that's not happening. Might not happen with everyone, but I'm sure there's a handful of people that aren't surprised when they are released. I'll tell you right now, almost every release is a surprise.
Yeah, honestly.
Every release is a surprise. They do not do that.
Walks into work one day and goes, oh yeah, today's the day. I'm done.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you right now, I promise you, they are not having a lot of these conversations. I know they're not having these conversations. Well, I know people.
Go ahead.
I know people who have been released from both companies that have reached out to me and personally told me their experience of how it went down. I'm telling you right now, if Tony Khan and AEW and WWE are having these kind of conversations, WWE and AEW, both of these companies, if they're having those conversations and they're letting people know that they're treading very closely to losing their jobs, I promise you right now, there would have been a change.
Yes.
There would have been a change. And you know how I know that those conversations don't happen? You know how I know that these things don't happen? Because there's a lot of people that have been released that also have not signed with another wrestling company. They chose to go into podcasting. They chose to go into OnlyFans. They chose to get into other careers that were a little bit easier because it was so hard being a professional wrestler. I can't relate to being a professional wrestler because I'm not a professional wrestler. I don't have that athletic background. I don't have that promo ability. I'm not going to act like I can. That's why my channel is obviously me giving you a fan's perspective. However, what I do know is how to run a business, and I know how to make millions and millions of dollars for a business. I've done it before. So the reason why I say that now is because I know workplace culture always tends from being collaborators. Yes. And these companies, billionaires, do not think like collaborators because it is far easier and cheaper, and you waste less time just saying, hey, you're done.
Yeah, agreed.
So.
Agreed.
Crazy. Shout out to LMCT for a fantastic super chat.
Yeah, welcome to Business 101, chat.
Yeah. This turned into a wrestling talk show to basically me fixing Tony Khan. Free game, bro.
Free game, baby.
But hey, you know, they don't fucking rock with Ango. It's okay.
No, dude.
$9.99 from Phil. He says, I know that people know Malachi as Alistair and Miro as Rusev, but if I were WWE and I was bringing them back, I wouldn't change a thing about their presentation. Bring the Redeemer and Malachi into WWE. The name Alistair Black, 100%.
Malachi.
Yeah, Alistair Black for sure. Yeah. Miro, the Redeemer. I'm okay with him being called Miro because that's his real name.
Yes.
Miroslav.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
I'm also okay with them calling him Rusev again because you could do the Rusev Day thing.
Rusev Day.
So, I'm okay with both.
That fits the United States Championship, you know? When I hear Rusev Day, I just think of the United States Championship.
I think of him and John Cena.
Yeah, wasn't that for the US title? Yeah.
Good times.
Good times, man.
You know, it's but like I want Malachi. I said it. Like when he came to AEW, his presentation was sick. I never questioned his presentation. I think he for sure should come in with the face paint.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should even make him go a little bit darker, honestly.
I just want to see him sitting there crisscross applesauce on like the side of the stage.
Give me Aleister Black. Oh my god, bro. Give me fucking Aleister Black versus Nathan Frazier. I just want to see Nathan Frazier just fucking jump off the rope and get hit with a black mass.
Oh god.
Dude, and that motherfucker will sell that shit like crazy.
Oh, dude, I'd love it.
Like crazy. Oh, dude. Yeah, Miro the Redeemer, you could call him Rusev and call him the Redeemer too. Such a great gimmick. I mean, it's better than the video game shit that he was doing with Trent and all them in the beginning.
Do you remember that whole big giant balls thing?
Fucking A, bro. Fucking hell.
Come on, man. What a time. So yeah, Tony Khan's gotten some free game today. All over the place.
Yeah. Shout out to Phil for the super chat. Appreciate that, brother. Do you think they're putting Aleister with the Judgment Day? No.
Hell no.
They did tease something though about them potentially getting new members. Dom is asking for new members.
Oh God. Oh God. I know. He said that in the backstage segment, right?
Yeah. I part of me just thinks maybe they would put Rusev with them. So, like if you want to make the Judgment Day like less like more serious, you could do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
I don't like that idea, but you could.
Yeah, you easily could. I don't like it though.
Let me just be very clear. For the last like 3 months now, I've been advocating for the Judgment Day to end.
Yes, it is time for the Judgment Day to go.
Well, you know what I would be really cool with though? If Finn Balor started a new faction and just completely turned on the Judgment Day.
That's what I'm hoping he does.
Yeah.
Because obviously we know he's going to lose next week. So he's got to put the blame on somebody.
Yeah.
So he'll put the blame on the Judgment Day. Let them separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only other thing I really want to talk about from Raw last night. Mm-hmm. Logan Paul.
Man, what a guy.
Finisher.
The
pulverizer.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Bro, I loved it. Everybody says, oh, he has Hangman Adam Page's moveset. And then he goes out and he hits the pulverizer. What are you going to say now?
Oh, please, bro. Logan Paul coming in. He's a good performer, man.
Bro knows what he's doing. Him and his brother, dude, they got it. They figured it out. Hate them all you want.
Yeah.
They figured it out. They're entertainers, man.
Yeah.
Bro, that move is sick.
I like it.
So do I. I was such a big fan of it. I was like, oh shit, that's fire.
Yeah, I like seeing that they've allowed him to introduce some new stuff.
Yeah, I seen something about potentially if you want to set up something with Logan Paul and CM Punk in the future. Because do you remember back in the day when that was like a thing?
Yeah.
And like the whole TMZ shit when they got involved. I don't know. I just feel like WWE could set something up between Logan Paul and CM Punk later down the line. I don't think you have to do it right now, but in the chamber, obviously you kind of hinted at it with him eliminating, and it's starting with, oh, well, I never lost to Logan Paul, and then you get eliminated by him, and then potentially something can happen in the chamber. I think if you don't want CM Punk to win the chamber, I think you let Logan pin him.
I don't know about that.
Come on, man. Call me crazy. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Something's got to happen in the chamber. Or at least cost him to get pinned.
The way they've set up the road to WrestleMania, like I said in the beginning of the stream, it's very unpredictable, so God knows what they're going to do.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue.
I'm intrigued.
Oh, man. I didn't even notice that.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're over an hour. I can't believe I powered through. I don't know what is wrong with me.
We did it.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Honestly, your super chats drove the conversation like crazy. just want to throw this up on the screen really quick too. Mike, shout out to Mike Gagliardi. Gagliardi or Gagliardi?
Gagliardi.
He says, you have been providing TK game for weeks now. Nothing new. Well,
it's actually been longer than weeks.
It's been years.
Yeah, I was about to say, you should see the conversation. The text thread that I have between me and Ango, I'm pretty sure I've never deleted our text messages. So if I scrolled up super duper far.
Oh, brother, you could search from like 2020.
Yeah, bro, I can go back to then.
Good times, man. Shout out to Tony Khan. Tony Khan, his ego will get the best of him. So shout out to him. It's not my money. Bring in Starks, Malachi, and Miro as the Radicals. Do it. Sitting in the crowd of SmackDown.
Yeah, you're talking about that, and I'm crazy for thinking Logan Paul should do something to pin CM Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, who knows, man? I'm not opposed to anything right now because they're just effectively better at putting on television shows. Raw was solid, so obviously.
Yeah, I didn't hate Raw.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is NXT. They just announced Roadblock.
Yes, March 11th.
The theater at MSG. So that's going to be really cool. Very cool venue. I've been to that venue before. It's going to be really sweet. So I'm excited about that. We'll be live tomorrow. I don't know whatever the hell is going on with me at this point. Something I just feel very off.
Go charge yourself. You got to go fix your batteries.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for pulling up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who watched on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Billy, youtube.com/@BillyTKO, make sure you guys do that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.